Mary gave birth in the evening. Rain had fallen earlier that day, and the ground outside the house was still wet. The room smelled of warm water, soap, and smoke from the lantern. Mary lay on the bed, tired but smiling, holding her newborn baby tightly against her chest. "It's a boy," the nurse said softly. Mary looked down at her baby and smiled. "My Daniel," she whispered. The baby was quiet. His eyes were open, slowly moving around the room, as if he was looking for something. Mary felt happy, but somehow uneasy. The woman who came uninvited, not long after the baby was born, there was a knock on the door. Knock, knock. Mary looked up. "Who is that?" Before anyone answered, the door opened. A tall woman stepped inside. Her name was Auntie Rose. Everyone in the area knew her. She was always smiling, always friendly, always visiting people who just had babies. She wore a long dress and a scarf on her head. Her smile was wide, but her eyes were cold. "I heard a baby was born," Auntie Rose said happily. "Congratulations." She walked closer without waiting to be invited. Mary held her baby tighter. The first time she said it, Auntie Rose looked at the baby. Her smile grew wider. "Ah, such a fine baby," she said slowly. Then she stretched out her hands. "Let me carry your baby." The room became quiet. Mary felt something strong inside her say nitrogen monoxide. "I'm tired," Mary said quickly. "Maybe later." Auntie Rose paused. Just for a moment. Her smile did not disappear, but it became tight. "Oh, don't worry," she said softly. "I just want to carry him small." The baby suddenly cried. Not a normal cry. A loud, sharp cry. Mary felt fear rush through her body. "I said no," she repeated. Auntie Rose slowly dropped her hands. "All right," she said calmly. "I will come back." She turned and left. As she walked out, the lantern light followed her shadow on the wall. Her shadow looked too long. That night, Mary could not sleep. Each time she closed her eyes, she felt like someone was watching her. Daniel slept for a while, then suddenly woke up crying hard. Mary checked him. He was not hungry. He was not sick. Still, he cried. At exactly 2 a.m., the crying stopped suddenly. Too suddenly. Mary looked at his face. His eyes were open. He was staring at the door. Mary turned slowly. There was nothing there, but she could hear slow footsteps outside. Someone walking, and stopping, then walking away. The next morning, Mary heard news. Another woman nearby had allowed Auntie Rose to carry her baby. "Since that day," the woman said, "my baby sleeps too much." Another said, "My baby does not cry anymore." Another whispered, "My baby just stares at the wall." Fear entered Mary's heart. She hugged Daniel tightly. She knew one thing now. Auntie Rose was not a normal woman, and she was coming back. Mary tried to be strong. For 2 days after Daniel was born, she refused to leave the house. She locked the door early in the evening and carried her baby everywhere while cooking, while bathing, even while sleeping. But fear makes people tired, and tired people make mistakes. Pressure from people. On the 3rd day, visitors came. Women from the area sat on benches, talking, laughing, giving advice. One of them said, "You cannot protect a child from elders forever." Another said, "Auntie Rose has carried many babies." Nothing happened. Mary felt her heart beat fast. She looked down at Daniel. He was quiet again. Too quiet. Then the door opened. Auntie Rose returned. Auntie Rose walked in like she owned the house. She smiled. "Mary," she said sweetly, "you look tired." Mary said nothing. Auntie Rose looked at Daniel. Her eyes changed. "Not much, but enough. Let me carry your baby," she said again. Mary hesitated. The room was full of people. Everyone was watching. Her hands were shaking. "It will be just for a minute," Auntie Rose added. "I want to bless him." Mary looked at Daniel's face. He suddenly began to cry. Loudly. People murmured, "Maybe the child wants her." Mary's heart was weak. Slowly, she loosened her arms. The moment everything changed, Auntie Rose took the baby. The crying stopped immediately. Too immediately. The room became silent. Auntie Rose held Daniel close to her chest and closed her eyes. Her lips moved. She was whispering something. Not a prayer. Mary felt cold rush through her body. "Auntie Rose," she said, her voice shaking. "Give him back." Auntie Rose did not answer. Daniel's body suddenly became heavy. Very heavy. As if he was no longer a baby. Mary reached out and grabbed him back. The moment she did, Daniel screamed. A scream so sharp that people jumped from their seats. Auntie Rose smiled. "He will be fine," she said. "He just needs time." Then she left. The baby that was not the same. That night, something was wrong. Daniel did not sleep. He did not cry. He just stared. His eyes followed things that Mary could not see. At midnight, his body became cold. Mary wrapped him tightly. At exactly 2 a.m., Daniel stopped breathing. Mary screamed. Neighbors rushed in. Someone shouted, "He's not breathing." Someone slapped his feet. Someone prayed. After a long moment, Daniel gasped. He breathed again. But when he opened his eyes, they were different. Empty. The lesson begins. From that night, Daniel no longer smiled. He no longer cried when hungry. He woke up screaming at the same time every night. He feared the dark. He feared Auntie Rose's name. And Mary learned too late. Not everyone who asks to carry your baby loves your child. Some people want something else. After that night, Mary was no longer the same woman. She stopped smiling. She stopped greeting people. She stayed indoors with Daniel, watching him every second. Because the baby she brought home was not the same baby anymore. The first sign, Daniel no longer slept like a normal child. When Mary laid him down, his eyes stayed open. Even when his body looked asleep, his eyes were watching. Sometimes, Mary would wave her hand in front of his face. He would not blink. But when the room became dark, his eyes moved slowly, following something Mary could not see. Mary began to cry every night. The voice that was not his. One night, while Mary was half asleep, she heard a sound. A small sound. A whisper. She opened her eyes. Daniel was staring straight at her. His lips moved. And then she heard it clearly. Ma. Ree. Mary sat up suddenly. Her heart started beating fast. A newborn baby should not talk. Her hands began to shake. "Daniel?" she whispered. The baby smiled. But it was not a baby's smile. It was slow. And wrong. The dream that was not a dream. That same night, Mary slept and woke up at the same time. She found herself sitting on her bed holding Daniel. But the room looked different. The walls were darker. The air was heavy. Then the door opened. Auntie Rose walked in. She was not smiling. Her eyes were black. "You allowed me," she said calmly. "You gave him to me." Mary tried to scream. No sound came out. Auntie Rose touched Daniel's forehead. "I did not take him," she said. "I only entered him." Mary woke up screaming. Daniel was laughing. What the neighbors saw, people began to notice strange things. At night, Mary's house was never quiet. Sometimes they heard a baby crying. Sometimes they heard two voices. One small, one deep. A neighbor said, "I saw the baby sitting up by himself." Another whispered, "That child looks at people like an old man." No one came close again. The warning too late. Mary finally went to an old woman in the area. The woman listened and shook her head slowly. "You made a mistake," she said. When she carried your baby, she passed something into him. Mary cried. Can it leave? The old woman looked away. Only if the woman who entered him releases it, she said. Mary's heart dropped. And if she doesn't? The old woman answered quietly. Then the child will grow. But it will never truly be your child again. The last thing Mary heard that night, Mary held Daniel tightly. She cried and begged God. Suddenly, Daniel stopped moving. Mary looked down. He opened his mouth, and a voice came out. Not a baby's voice, a woman's voice. Cold, slow, do not call my name again. Mary screamed. The night was darker than usual. Wind swept through the village, rattling the doors and carrying the faint smell of rain. Mary sat on the floor, Daniel in her arms. Her eyes never left him. Something inside her told her that tonight, nothing would be ordinary. The arrival of fear. A knock. Slow, deliberate. Mary's heart jumped. Her fingers tightened around Daniel's tiny body. The door creaked open. Auntie Rose was there. Not smiling like before. Not pretending. Her eyes were black. Empty. Her shadow stretched across the walls like a claw reaching for them. Mary whispered, No. Please stay away. Auntie Rose stepped inside. It is too late for warnings, she said. Her voice was soft, but it cut through the room like a knife. Daniel stirred in Mary's arms. His cry was sharp, terrified. But it wasn't just a baby's cry, it was warning. A sound that made the blood freeze. The evil revealed. Auntie Rose bent down toward Daniel. Her long fingers hovered over him. You cannot hide him from me, she whispered. Daniel's body stiffened. His tiny fist struck at Mary, not with his strength, but with a strange force, as if something else inside him was trying to break free. Mary screamed, I will never let you touch him. Auntie Rose laughed a low, twisting sound that made the walls shiver. The wind howled outside, the lanterns flickered wildly, and shadows danced across the room, twisting into shapes Mary could barely recognize. The village fights back. From outside, the villagers had gathered. They had heard Mary's cries. The elders stepped forward. Enough! You will harm no more children, they shouted. Auntie Rose turned to face them, her smile gone, replaced by fury. I only take what is given, she hissed. You are too late. The elders began chanting prayers. Smoke rose from the herbs they carried. The room grew thick, heavy. Auntie Rose screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the chants. Her shadow writhed violently, twisting against the walls. Daniel, in Mary's arms, trembled violently, letting out a scream that pierced the night. The punishment, the elders' prayers grew louder. Auntie Rose tried to resist. Her body shook, her skin darkened, and her nails clawed at the floor. Then, with a final, terrible scream, she collapsed. The shadow that had stretched across the walls disappeared. The evil left her completely. She would never harm another child. The baby freed, Mary held Daniel close. He gasped, then cried a normal baby's cry. For the first time in weeks, he slept in her arms, soft and peaceful. The villagers looked on, wide-eyed, knowing the evil had ended. Mary whispered, You are safe now, my baby. Safe forever. The village learned a truth they would never forget. Not every smile is kind. Never give your child to someone who seems too eager. Evil can hide in familiar faces. Some mistakes cannot be undone. Always protect your children. From that night on, Mary never let anyone near Daniel except her and the village elders she trusted. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share so you don't miss our next stories.